What's up, everyone? You're tuned in to the channel Eeps, episode 139. I'm your host, EEPMON, because there is none other. As you can see, this background is pretty cool. I'm at this hotel, and it is a comic book, I guess manga sort of themed, but more like comic book and graphic design. I wouldn't say I'm going to stop short of saying anime because it's not. It's really cool actually, which I like. It's nice and it's pretty well designed. I posted some photos on my Instagram at Eatma, so do check it out. Like and subscribe this channel, and do share it around if you think that my information and content is informative as a creative entrepreneur and for those aspiring to become one in the creative world. Anyway, so it's been what is it now? We're on October 28th. I've been in Japan since October 2nd. All I have to say is my trip has been phenomenal and made some fantastic new connections, meeting new people, but also, of course, continuing with my B2Bs and us also, of course, uh, reconnecting with the people at the Embassy of Canada, because I do feel that it is very important to continue the dialogue with any sort of networking, building relationships. It's never a one-time thing. It's never a two-time thing. You know what I'm saying? It's ongoing. It never ends. Now, for those who are persistent and have that drive, that mentality to do this, all the power to you. But I do understand that it's not for everyone. If I were to look at myself a third person, I think I would probably say like, you're kind of crazy, you're kind of nuts. Like, you know, you're doing all these things, you're going out there without an expectation really of an ROI. ROI stands for return on investment. Now, it could be return on invest, but that's the thing though, is like, what's the return on investment? How are you assessing that? Are you assessing that based on financial means? So ROI in getting, you know, a business opportunity, dollars and cents coming in, or is it an ROI based on your building your network, your relationships? Is it an ROI based on your experiences, traveling around the world, going from place to place, taking it in, absorbing the culture, right? Is it an ROI of continuing building cultural diplomacy, cultural relationships? Is it all the above? So I think that now that I think about it, too many times we creative entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurism in general, we think of ROI, we immediately think of dollars and cents. I think that is kind of silly, but I'm also realistic. I know that at the end of the day, we need to do our jobs and get opportunity to get paid. But you see, that's why I think it's all about persistence and having that type of mindset. Now, I understand that not everyone um, can do this because it takes a particular personality, it takes a behavior, it takes an attitude to really do this type of endeavor, right? It's not a one-dimensional thing. It's not even a two-dimensional thing. It's not like a cadence of like I am expecting, I know exactly what is going to happen within the year, right? People like to clock in and clock out, which is great, which is fine. But for others, like myself, we are driven by our curiosity, our intuition, and really we find strength in exploring the uncertainties and the unknowns. Um, I might be digressing a bit, but yeah, back to the whole money part or ROI. for me, honestly, it was really never about that. My MO was to be as free as I can. Of course, continuing with what I do best. My passion is arts, and I find myself in the digital art world. So, how do I combine my love for digital arts with my passion for exploration and freedom, uh, building a presence, at the same time building a brand, building EEPMON, building Eepverse? How do I, where do I go? How does it happen? And this is what the channel Eeps is all about. Now, to see what I just laid out there was already so many different dimensions, right? Because what I just laid out was, yeah, you got to be a business person. You got to know how to market. You got to know how to create art. You need to be agile. You need to explore all your dimensions. I wouldn't, I don't think I would be as effective if I am being told that I am going to do one specific task and that task only. That's not me. It could be for you, it could be for other people, that could be your strength, but my strength is just not, you know, I can't see myself doing illustration cover books for the rest of my life. I don't want to be known as, oh, Eatmon is the is the illustrator for book covers. I mean, it's not me. I'm laughing because I'm just laughing at the idea of just picturing myself doing that. That ain't me. Um, but yeah, so here I am in Japan, October 28th. I just got back from Osaka and catching up with great people, like-minded individuals, those in the fashion industry specifically. And who knows where that goes? But I can say that the conversation was very fruitful. The relationship is fantastic, and we're moving the needle forward. You know, uh, I just met with Pedro-san. I call him Pedro-san, A Leather, Japan, and met some new people in his world. Also met Kanami. Kanami sounds awesome. Kanami, like I met her back in the days when we were living in New York City. So we have a long-standing relationship, and it was great. Such great energy, great vibes. So, you know, will collaboration happen? We shall see. But I'm very positive that it will likely happen. And in what format? We toss some ideas, but let's let it percolate. That's what we do. We have conversations, we think about, we get inspired, and then something will come out of it naturally. There's an art to, I think there's just certainly an art to being an entrepreneur, like uh, in the creative, in specifically the creative industry. As much as we really want to talk about dollars and cents and make millions of dollars, whoa, like come on, like honestly, I think that's so kind of premature, kind of immature and premature. It's like, you know, when we think about $1 million, like it's like music to majorities people's ears. Like, oh yeah, I want to make that much money. It's like, folks, oh, I could do a whole episode about money and stuff like that. Seriously, um, creative entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in general, like we first of all must learn how to be frugal, knowing how to be stoic, and being very efficient with your means. The fun and the adventure in what we do, it's not about boasting that we made this much money. It's not even about making money at all. The joy and the enjoyment is the fact that we are engaged in an intellectual and intuitive conversation with ourselves, right? It's an adventure. It's a challenge. It's really the fun. all wrapped up at the same time because you are going against yourself. You are your best friend and your worst enemy. Now, to truly know who you are, at least for me, my experience, doing what I do, embracing the unknowns, embracing the uncertainties, is essentially going up against myself. It's like a mirror match. It's like, okay, I challenge you. EEPMON, I challenge you. How far can you go? Challenge accepted. And at least for me again, as I have traversed through my almost 20 years in doing what I do, I look back and how I have transformed. Yeah. I look back and I reflect and I would say, wow, dude, you have come a long way. I couldn't, like 20 years ago, I would have never fathomed where I would be right now. I'd be like that little kid being like, that's impossible. That's crazy. How do you do that? But that was the same me back then saying that to other people, like, wow, they did some great things. How did he do it? Where did he go? What did he achieve? How they're doing they're traveling the world, doing great things, doing enjoying what they do in their passion, in their work as creative people. If they can do it, so can I. How do I do it? And I did, and I figured it out. And it's not as, but trust me, the reality is it's not as romantic as what we envision, what we envision it to be, what the movie or the theater, the theatrical way of looking at how does a creator become who they are. By no means am I famous or anything like that, okay? I'm just being me. But that being said, um, the path in which I am here and now is never a straight road. It's never linear. It's never, an upward trend. Well, there is an upward trend, but it's through very volatile means, kind of like the stock market, maybe kind of like Bitcoin. uh, it's very volatile, folks. You're going to have many downs. You're going to have some ups. You have many downs, but you keep at it. Overall, if you were to like average the line of the graph, there is an upward trajectory. I can guarantee that. But like I said, it takes a type of personality in order to fulfill this entrepreneurial endeavor, adventure. And it can be learned. I'm not saying that it's naturally that you're born with it or anything like that. Um, it can be learned. It's just, hmm, it's just that you have to keep at it. It's practice, right? It's part of practice. The cadence, the practice, the perseverance, the persistence, all part of uh, growth. I don't know how I started talking about these sort of one-on-ones, but I thought they're very important about that. I should do another episode of the channel Eves that talks about money specifically, because I'm kind of a little jaded of a lot of YouTube channels, and they're talking about, oh, this this much money, and how to be blah blah blah. And like, the reality is, folks, is like, um, it sounds so. I mean, it's another example of them preaching about how easy things seems to be, but like, uh, it's it requires so many steps before that to start even to engage in this whole idea of like, making millions of dollars. Come on. I'm doing just fine, being frugal. I think if you learn, oh my God, I should do an episode about frugality. If you can master frugality, you will do just fine. Everyone needs to be frugal. Seriously, in this day and age, with the economy and all that, spot the sells. What's or just knowing when to spend, knowing when to be efficient with your kind of like the notion of stretching that dollar, like just knowing when um to take action, uh knowing when to invest, what are the investment strategies, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. Well, I don't know if you want to take my word for it for investment because I'm very on the deep end on certain investments. But anyway, I'm digressing again. But essentially, yeah, I think about it. I could be like, had I not done EEPMON, I would probably be working at a design studio, or I would be working at, um, well, in a government organization that's probably maybe web or creative, somewhat, I'm not talking down on these institutions, but like the creative outlet, whether it's in the design agency or government agency or whatever, is usually very narrow focused on a particular task, a particular project. And again, for others, that's great. All the power to you if you love that. But for me, I find it very creatively restrictive. So my strength is really to explore the oasis that awaits, and it's up to us or up to our type of personalities to take and own this this space or being part of that space, which is exciting, but of course a lot of uncertainties. And I continue to do this to this very day. In fact, I have a meeting today around 5 p.m., a discussion that may involve, uh, again, continued B2Bs here in Japan and potentially B2Bs connections with China. That's a new. I never thought about that. I never thought that would be possible. But now, I mean, I've done projects in China before, but I never. My mission coming here was not about looking at China. It was really more focused in Japan. But no, Tokyo is an international city. It brings all sorts of people in this world. So here I am, and now I need to explore that. Now, um, now in my mind, I'm thinking, well, okay, there could be something there. So I need to perhaps re-engage more into the Chinese creative industries. I think it's time actually. I feel that now this time is to re-engage with China again. I did my creative industries trade mission to China back in 2018. Uh, for those who don't know, the Canadian Heritage, they're a department of Canadian Heritage. It was minister led, and I was on the delegation to China back in 2018, and it was fantastic. It was great. So now I'm just thinking out loud. 2025 could be the year that I re-engage. Let's go to Shanghai. Let's go to Hong Kong. Let's go to Beijing. Let's go. Let's go to Chengdu. Let's go. But yeah, so that's my little spiel. It's raining right now in Tokyo. I think today I'm gonna just stay at a hotel, continue my work. I got a couple projects coming up. I got one, a really cool project that's going to happen in December in Los Angeles. So follow me on Instagram to see more behind the scenes and more up to date. Well, I do the channel Eves for my background, my entrepreneurial stuff. But if you want to know more actively what I'm doing day to day, definitely follow me on Instagram at EEPMON. So yeah. Anyway, I didn't think I was going to do an episode today, but here we are, almost at 20 minutes in. Have a great evening, have a great afternoon, have a great morning, wherever you are in the world. This is the Channel Eves episode 139, and I'll certainly talk to you all very soon. Bye bye.